Hello everyone, welcome back to Potty Planet Entertainment. My name is Chris, and in case you don't know, I review movies and I rate them on a scale of 0 to 100 in increments of 5. Today, we are going to be talking about Joker. I do not own this movie, so I do not have a picture here to show you, but we are going to be talking about Joker. So Joker was released in 2019, and it stars Joaquin Phoenix, Robert De Niro, Zazie Beetz, Francis Conroy, and Brett Cullen. It was directed by Todd Phillips, and it was produced by Richard Barada, Bruce Berman, Joseph Garner, Aaron L. Gilbert, Walter Hamada, and Michael E. Uslan. And this movie is the origin movie of the Batman's arch nemesis, the Joker. That's pretty much it. Actually, that's really all I need to say. It just shows you how this guy becomes the Joker. He is abused by society, and this movie essentially sends us a message about society. So I remember before this movie came out, there was a lot. Hang on, let me put that there. Put that there to block out sound. I remember before this movie came out, there was a lot of speculation about this film. I remember people were saying that this movie was going to be so violent, and once this movie came out, pretty much the earth would explode. That didn't happen, and it wasn't that violent. I remember people saying that there was a mass shooting in this movie. And at the time, we had a lot of mass shootings here in the United States. And so that would have been highly inappropriate to put in a movie at that time. So, yeah, needless to say, people were scared of this movie. I remember even my mom sent me something on Facebook trying to discourage me from seeing it. And like what she sent me was like this article that just said things about the movies that just simply weren't true. The pre-release controversy of this movie was just crazy, and it was really dumb. It was super dumb. The movie's not that bad. It's not that violent. It doesn't glorify violence. It just shows a psychopath who does violent things every now and then. But like, for crying out loud, I mean, this movie was more violent than Joker. American Psycho, this is a cult hit. There was no like There was no, like, mass hysteria over this movie when it came out. And this movie is kind of the same. I mean, it talks about a psychopath who has killed people. Like, this movie is way more violent than Joker. So, yeah, the pre-release hysteria over this film was really stupid, okay? Hopefully this won't happen with another movie because it was so dumb. So anyways, let's get into my pros with this movie first. So the acting in this movie is fantastic, especially by Joaquin Phoenix. He won Best Actor in a Leading Role for this movie. He was so good. I don't want to go so far as to say he was better than Heath Ledger, but I think he definitely rivaled him, for sure. I still think Heath Ledger was an overall better Joker, but as to who gave the better performance, it's kind of a tie. Joaquin Phoenix was incredible in this movie. He's a great actor. He also got nominated for Gladiator. If you've ever seen Gladiator. Yeah, I think he's been nominated for a few Oscar awards, actually. I also really liked him in Her. Yeah, he's a really good actor, and he was incredible in this movie. So incredible. Thank God he didn't turn out like Heath Ledger after playing the Joker. Rest in peace, man. So sad. The cinematography in this movie is excellent, too. Excellent cinematography. It works so well with this movie. It's got some twists in it that really are so good. And so good. And you won't expect them, but once you see, especially this one twist, you don't expect it. But once it's revealed to you, you're like, oh, now it actually makes a lot of sense. And a lot of twists aren't like that. A lot of twists make it so that nothing makes sense anymore. So that was really good. And there's a lot of twists in this movie that they're so shocking, but they're so good. They're so good. It sends a good message about society and how we treat others. It's thrilling. This is a really thrilling movie. And one of the great things about the Joker character is that you can understand his motives. Even though you don't agree with the horrible things he does, the things he says make sense. Like in The Dark Knight, when he says, if I were to kill one gangbanger, then nobody cares. But if I say that one little mayor is gonna die, well, then everybody loses their minds. it's stuff like that it says, he's not wrong. You know what I mean? He's an awful, awful person, but he's right. And so you can sort of you can understand the things he's saying in this movie. It's just the way he goes about it is terrible. It's very realistic. I feel like this is the most realistic possible way that they could have portrayed the Joker. So applause to them for that. It was really good. He has a really, really fascinating descent to madness because he's already mentally ill, right? And he's got this condition where he has uncontrollable laughter. And he's so rejected by society that you can see him constantly, he's descending into this madness. And it's really good. The score is pretty cool. It's creepy, and it really helps set the tone for this movie. And it's not just set up by the actors, but it's the tone helps really set this, the music really helps set the tone. Like, the tone probably wouldn't have been the same without the score. And Todd Phillips knew when and when not to use the music. Sometimes there was just moments in this movie that just straight up did not need it. And so he knew when and when not to use the music. It's not overused in the film. It's a very different comic book movie. This is not like any comic book movie we've ever seen before. It's really different. And it just goes to show that comic book movies don't have to just be, I don't know, something fun like this. No, they can, I mean, this is a good movie. I like it. But it shows that, like, they can be really, really good movies. Like, really deep movies. You know what I mean? This movie showed what comic book movies can do. Because this doesn't feel like a comic book movie. When I watch this, I don't feel like I'm watching a comic book movie, but I am. It ties into Batman well. In case you don't know, it does tie into Batman. And it does set up the Batman character. Although Batman's not the focus, he's like barely in the movie. And it's not even Batman. It's Bruce Wayne. But, yeah. There's a scene in this movie where I think it really, really helps show how disconnected this guy is from reality. And how different he is from other people. He wants to be a stand-up comedian, right? And there's a scene where he's in this club, this comedy club, and he's watching this guy talk. And he's sitting there taking notes about what the guy does to help him become a better comedian. And he laughs at, like, all the wrong times. It's very obvious he doesn't know when to laugh. And the way he laughs is just so brilliant by Joaquin Phoenix. It's so good. It's such a good scene. And Joaquin Phoenix is so good in the film. It really puts you into his world. It sort of takes you, this movie sort of removes you from your comforted world. I mean, look at my background here. I'm in a comforted world. This movie sucks me out of this, and it takes me into his dark, depressing, run-down world. And it's really a very beautiful story because of that. This guy is so depressed. He doesn't want to live. He's nuts. He's constantly rejected by society. And when you really think about it, it's a beautiful story. It's a screwed up story, but it's beautiful in its own way. You immediately care for this character. I don't think I've ever thought that I would care about the Joker, but I did watch this movie. You instantly care about this guy. Instantly. You instantly feel bad for him. And I'm sure there are some people who can relate to him. And I think we can all really learn something from watching this movie. So, I don't have a lot of cons for this movie. My main con is this big plot hole in the movie. So, basically, Bruce Wayne is a child in this movie, right? Okay. I guess that's a spoiler, but, I mean, it's been over a year. Whatever. Anyway, so Bruce Wayne is a child in this movie, right? And the Joker is in his 40s. And so it sets it up to where it's like, you know what's going to happen next. You know that the Joker and Batman are going to go on to be hero and villain and arch nemesis and whatever. But the problem is that by the time that Bruce Wayne is going to become Batman, the Joker's going to be like in his 70s. Or maybe his 80s. He's going to be old. So it's a humongous plot hole that I've never heard anyone talk about. I feel like I'm the only one who's noticed. Yeah, can someone explain that to me, please? And on top of that, I don't necessarily love this movie. I really like it. I think it's really good, but I don't love this movie. A lot of people do love this movie. It has like an 8.5 out of 10 on IMDb. A lot of people really love this movie. I think it's really good, but I don't particularly love it. So with all that being said, I'm going to give Joker an 80. 80 out of 100. I think this is a really good movie. It's really hot in here. It's not... I don't love it as much as some other people do, but that's fine. You know, film is subjective, and there's nothing wrong with that. But, yeah, I would recommend watching it. If for anything, just watch it for Joaquin Phoenix. He's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to Pilot Planet Entertainment for more, and hit the like button. Leave movie review suggestions down in the comments down below. Follow me on Instagram at Pilot Planet Entertainment for channel updates, and much love.